So we just stopped outside a client's house that we first visited 3 years ago now. Yeah, 3 years ago. She'd had issues with rodents in the loft, and she'd had them ongoing for about 10 years. So she's used multiple amounts of companies. And obviously when we first went up there and did our site survey, God, it was a mess up there. Someone had used tracing powder, so they'd just thrown this powder, so it's basically like baby powder that's coloured. It's either pink or yellow or blue. They've thrown that all over the loft, and the idea is the rat runs through it, gets it on its body, drags it out, and it locates where the entry point is. But because there's that much of activity that's gone on there, you couldn't really tell where the entry point is, and it's made a horrible mess of the insulation. The insulation itself absolutely stunk of urine. It was disgusting, and there was tons and tons of droppings. It was just a hell of a mess. So we carried out a inspection, so it must have cost her, at the time for us, was £236, and that was for 4 visits plus VAT. Previous to that, as I said, she'd had ongoing issues for 10 years, so the chances are she spends quite a few £100 trying to resolve a problem that was never resolved. We got in there, put down our tracing gel, and actually found out where it was getting in. We had to hoover up some of the tracing dust that was already in there so our gel would work, and we found out that the entry point, because it was a semi-detached, was the adjoining part of the roof between her property and a next door property. We put in some rodent proofing, so that it was mesh that went all the way along the eaves, all the way down and all the way down one side. We then removed all the insulation, gave it a bio clean, hoovered it all out, and installed fresh insulation. Now obviously the job itself, because we put down the proofing work, comes with a 3-year guarantee. So each year, as a part of our ongoing maintenance, we just pop in and see how things are getting on. So I'm just about to pop into the loft, see how we've got on, and I'll just explain a little bit of what we did inside the loft with regards to the insulation, and hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be no activity at all. This is an insulation that we've just recently installed, and I'm just going to give it a quick sweep around the loft itself. There we go. So this was 9 meters by 12 meters total in length. Now the actual insulation that we use is a European rated insulation. It's called a EU A1, which means it can resist fire for up to 1,000 degrees. So the top layer is 170 millimeters thick, and this comes in rolls of 1 meter by 8 meters, and then underneath you've got the 100 mil insulation, which comes in rolls 11 meters by 1 meters. I think the general price on average for the top layer is about £45 plus VAT for a roll, and the bottom layer is about £32 plus VAT per roll. So all you got to do is just work out square meters of this one, which was 9 by 12, divide it up, and then that'll give you the amount of rolls that we've had to use. As you can see, it's nicely aerated, so this will have a payback with over a 3-year period in savings, cost of energy. We've also installed a platform, and as you can see, it's a bit me, I'm a bit nerdish. I like things to be neat. I didn't want any insulation being exposed underneath, so as you can see, we're just putting that lovely little legend all the way around the end of the board. Now the boards themselves, they're 1 meters in length by 330 meters in width. Now they're attached to legs going all the way along. Now let me just take you over and I'll just show you what a leg looks like. So that's a leg there. Now that sits 300 millimeters above the actual joist itself, to ensure that you're not actually crushing any of the insulation down with having the boards. The last thing you want to do is crush the insulation down. If you crush the insulation down, what you'll get is you get a build-up of moisture, because you're not having a nice airflow. So at the moment there's a lovely airflow going all under and through the insulation, which is exactly what you want to stop any insulation, to stop any moisture. So this boards themselves, so as you can see, these are 3 meters by 2 meters, just to give enough storage space, just to put up any suitcases or little bits and pieces without actually affecting the actual insulation itself. Also running along the edges, you can't see it, is rodent proof work. I just may be able to see a little bit of it down there. There we go. So you can see the mesh that's running along, because they had rats at one point up here. They were coming through via the next door neighbour, and they were getting along, and coming in this way. We found that out because we put tracing powder down. So we've installed that mesh. That's 1.99 millimeters, which means mice and rats can't get through it, and that goes all the way along there.